My name is Rednour. I've been a Heartland missionary here for about 16 years. I'd like to share with you a little bit about my journey on the road. It began when I was about 10 years old. I grew up in a family of 4 children with parents that worked very, very hard and struggled like many parents do today. My father would work as a mechanic during the day, and when he came home in the afternoon, he would work as a mechanic in the afternoon for people around the town there. My mother took in laundry and did ironing for people around town. At that time, they really had very little time for us children, but there was 4 of us, so we pretty much took time with each other. But there came a day that they had a revival in the town and visiting evangelists in town, and my mom and dad went, and I thought that's pretty good. We was doing something together as a family finally, except on Wednesday night when Lost in Space was on, and I hid behind the couch one time, hoping they wouldn't go, wouldn't know that I was hiding out, but they took me, and gradually during the revival, I could kind of see a different interest in my mom and dad and what they were paying to the church. And during the revival, they both dedicated their lives to following Christ. And after that, it was really a dramatic change in all of our lives. My dad, who seemed to some days be hopeless, now had a hope and had joy in his life and really seemed to be happy about life. And his relationship with my mother was much greater. On Sundays after church, we were going for walks. They bought us a Bible. I remember that very clearly. We never really had too much. And every night after supper, we'd all gather around and he would read us a story out of this children's Bible. And during this process, someone in the church offered him a job as a diesel mechanic. And at that time, our lives really changed again. And Dad, who had been saddled down with a lot of financial obligations, now we had some freedom. We got bicycles for the first time in our life. My mom got a toaster for the first time in her life. And we thought, really, God was really good, and things were really going good for us. Because of the change I seen in my mother and father's life, I began to ask my dad's question. I wanted a little bit to know more about how could something change somebody's life so dramatically. So my dad, I remember the verse was 29:11, Jeremiah. He told us that God did have a plan for our life and it was to give us a hope and a future. And all of a sudden I felt like I wanted that type of hope and a future in my life. So as I was talking to my dad there, I told him I wanted to accept Christ in my life and become a lifetime follower of Him. And life was just great. We go to church and really and truly I didn't miss Wednesday nights when I missed Lost in Space to go to church because I was there with a family that cared about us. It was a small church, about 30 people. But there's a lot of love and a lot of caring in that church family. So we talked about love and joy and peace is the main thing my dad talked about all the time. And little did I realize that about 6 months after I accepted Christ that I would need every little ounce of that. One rainy night, we were heading out about 5 miles out of town to go to my aunt's house. We were going to eat supper with them. As we rounded a curve right there where we turned in to go to my grade school, a drunk driver hit us head on at 60 miles an hour. At that time, my life was changed again dramatically, more than I could ever imagine. In the car wreck, my mother lost her life, my dad lost his life, and 2 days later, my little brother, a 6-year-old brother, he lost his life in it also. And it was during this period that I really, really turned to Christ, and I knew, never felt lonely, I knew He was always there to help me. And during this period, as I've shared before with many people, I asked that He just send me somewhere where I could keep a relationship with Him. And in my heart then, I knew He wanted me to go and to live with my grandmother, who was a godly person. At that point there, I knew that I'd be taken care of for the rest of my life with her. During this time, God formed me in a very powerful way to care about people and their relationships and how they think about God. And I try to parlay that here in the ministry of Lifestyle Discipleship and the Acts ministry here. God has formed each one of you in a special way, and you need to find that road on which you need to walk.